In 2019, Subject 23 made a critical error during their temporal self-convening. They seated their 15-year-old self directly across from their 43-year-old self. The 15-year-old took one look at the receding hairline, the reading glasses, and the business casual attire, stood up and said, "I'd rather die." Subject 23 required psychological intervention for 6 weeks. Don't be Subject 23.
This is the Department of Speculative Reality, Human Potential Division, documenting what never was, preparing for what shouldn't be, surviving what already is.
The Department of Speculative Reality has approved your request to convene with all temporal versions of yourself in a single location for the purpose of collective decision-making. Congratulations. We're very sorry. This training will cover 3 essential protocols. First, the seating chart incident of 2018 and why your 23-year-old self must be placed near an exit at all times. Second, proper responses when your 9-year-old self asks if you kept the promises. Third, what we now refer to in official documentation as the Great Applebee's Collapse. We will discuss the Applebee's incident at timestamp 7:45. Please do not skip ahead. The context is critical. Select a conference room that holds no emotional significance to any version of yourself. Do not use your childhood bedroom. In 2021, Subject 89 attempted this. Their 6-year-old self found their old stuffed rabbit in the closet and refused to leave for 3 hours. Do not use your college apartment. Your 19-year-old self will become insufferable about the authentic experience of struggle, and your 35-year-old self will physically recoil at the carpet. And under absolutely no circumstances should you rent a conference room at an Applebee's. I cannot stress this enough. Each temporal self must receive 1 notepad, 1 pen, 1 glass of water, and 1 folder containing a single-page document titled "You Are Not Dreaming," a temporal orientation. Do not provide multiple pens. Your 22-year-old self will hoard them. This is not speculation. This is documented across 847 separate convening events. Your 22-year-old self will take an average of 4.3 pens per meeting. They will claim they just need to borrow one. This is a lie. Budget accordingly. The seating chart is not a suggestion. It is a survival mechanism. You must never, and I cannot overstate this, never, seat temporal versions of yourself within 5 years of each other. Why? Because your 24-year-old self still believes in the dream. Your 29-year-old self just buried it. The proximity breeds what we call temporal contempt. Your 24-year-old self will look at your 29-year-old self and think, "I will never become that defeated." Your 29-year-old self will look at your 24-year-old self and think, "You have no idea what's coming." In 2018, Subject 31 ignored this protocol. Their 23-year-old self and 27-year-old self made eye contact for approximately 11 seconds. The 23-year-old self stood up, said, "This isn't real," and walked directly through a closed door. We still don't know how. Temporal paradox investigations are ongoing.
Thank you all for attending. I understand this is disorienting. Before we begin, I must establish 3 rules. Rule 1, no questions about the future. Rule 2, no judgments about the past. Rule 3, the 19-year-old version will not be permitted to speak for the first 15 minutes. Your 19-year-old self will immediately protest. They always do. They will say, "This is censorship." They will invoke their rights. They will threaten to leave. Remain calm. Make sustained eye contact. Say nothing. After approximately 90 seconds, they will sit down. They have no idea where they are or how to leave. You have the advantage. Your past selves will ask questions. So many questions. Your 14-year-old wants to know if you're happy. Your 21-year-old wants to know if you're successful. Your 28-year-old wants to know if it was worth it. The answers are sometimes, depends how you define that, and I'm still deciding. You cannot tell them any of this. Instead, you will smile. You will say, "That's an excellent question." You will write it down on your notepad. You will never answer it. This is called corporate redirection. You've been practicing for years. Approximately 18 minutes into the meeting, something unexpected will happen. Your 11-year-old self will start crying. Not because anything bad happened, not because anyone said anything cruel. They will cry because they looked around the table and realized all of these people used to be them, and they're all so tired. Do not comfort them. Department policy is clear on this. They must learn that sometimes you carry your own weight. Your 35-year-old self will slide the tissue box across the table without making eye contact. This is sufficient. Your 16-year-old self will eventually break their silence. They will gesture at you, at your sensible haircut, your comfortable shoes, your ability to enjoy herbal tea, and they will say, "So this is it? This is what we become? Someone who goes to bed at 10 p.m. and gets excited about sales at Target?" You will want to defend yourself. You will want to explain about compound interest and ergonomic desk chairs and how you actually really like Target. Don't. Instead, look them directly in the eyes and say, "Yes, this is what survival looks like. I know you think you'd rather die than be boring. You'll change your mind around age 27. They will hate you for this. This is expected." At some point, your 7-year-old self will raise their hand. They will ask, "Did we do it? Did we become what we wanted?" This is the worst question. Prepare accordingly. Here is the approved response. No, we didn't become an astronaut. We didn't discover a cure for anything. We didn't get famous. We didn't change the world. But we learned to make really good pasta. And we have a cat now. Her name is Barbara. She's orange. Your 7-year-old will think about this for a long time. Then they will nod. "I like cats," they will say. "I know. I remember."
You've been patient. Here is what happened at the Applebees. In March 2020, Subject 47 held their temporal convening at an Applebee's in suburban Ohio against explicit protocol. We still don't know why they chose this. Their 8-year-old self ordered the kids' mac and cheese from the children's menu. Their 28-year-old self looked at the regular menu, looked at the prices, looked at the kids' menu, and also ordered the kids' mac and cheese. Then their 42-year-old self did the same thing. 3 versions of the same person, separated by 34 years, sat in an Applebee's booth and ate identical meals. They made eye contact, all 3 of them, simultaneously, and they realized nothing had changed. Not one thing. Not their taste in food, not their financial decision-making, not their fear of trying new things. Subject 47 stood up, walked to their car, and sat in the parking lot for 45 minutes. When temporal services arrived for extraction, Subject 47 was still sitting there, staring at the Applebee's sign, whispering, "I'm still the same. I'm still exactly the same." Subject 47 required 6 months of intensive therapy. This is why we don't do Applebee's. The kids' mac and cheese reveals too much. You didn't arrange this meeting for fun. You arranged it because you have a problem. Maybe you're choosing between 2 jobs. Maybe you're ending something. Maybe you're deciding whether to quit or keep going. So you ask them, all of them. You go around the table. Your 8-year-old says, "Pick the one that sounds fun." Your 16-year-old says, "Pick whichever one pisses off everyone who doubted us." Your 22-year-old says, "Pick the one that pays for the loans. God, please, the loans." Your 30-year-old says, "Pick the one with health insurance and minimal emotional labor." Your 38-year-old says, "Pick the one you can do without thinking about too hard." Your 45-year-old says, "Bold of you to assume I have the energy to care about this." And you sit there, surrounded by every version of yourself, and you realize they're all right, they're all completely wrong, they're all you. The decision was always going to be impossible.
The meeting will end exactly as it began, with uncertainty. Your younger selves will leave first. Your 8-year-old will wave, your 16-year-old will avoid eye contact, your 22-year-old will steal one final pen on the way out. Let them. Your middle-aged selves will linger. Your 35-year-old will pause at the door, wanting to say something encouraging, then decide you don't need it yet. They're right. You don't. You will sit alone in that conference room for approximately 7 minutes. You will notice things. The empty chairs, the half-drunk water glasses, the stolen pens, the tissue your 35-year-old self slid across the table for your 11-year-old self. And you will understand something the manual doesn't say. You called this meeting because you don't trust yourself. You thought maybe one of your past selves, one of the versions who still had hope or energy or certainty, might have the answer. They didn't, but they showed up anyway. Every single version of you across every timeline, every age, every disappointment, they showed up. Even your 16-year-old self who hates what you've become. Even your 28-year-old self who's still angry about the compromises. Even your 45-year-old self who's too tired to care. They all showed up. And if they can show up for you, maybe, just maybe, you can show up for the version of yourself you're becoming. Maybe that's the whole point of survival. File this manual in a secure location. The department recommends reconvening every 5 to 7 years or whenever you're making a decision you're not sure you can live with. Will it help? Unclear. Will it change anything? Probably not. Will you do it anyway? Yes. You always do. And next time, for the love of everything, stay away from the Applebees. Next, Training Protocol HPD-051. Operating your consciousness after sleep mode failure, or why you woke up on Tuesday but remember it being Friday. Mandatory viewing for all personnel, experiencing temporal displacement, unexpected Mondays, or the sensation that you've already lived this day before. Report for training immediately.